Good morning, Africa, and welcome to today's live on Equa Television Africa. How was the weekend? God bless you and thank you for joining. Joyce Iyakwari is on set. Sele Elisha Dashom is joining us today.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
How does it feel to be on a prime show like this?
It's an honor. I'm happy, excited. Oh.
You sound like you're trying to deal with some fears.
No, I'm excited and happy.
And I know you to be a girl of knowledge, and you just get up to things, just in the nick of time. Joyce, how have you been?
I've been fine.
Yes, good. Are you ready to talk about what we're talking about today? All week, we have dedicated all week to talk about global issues, and today we are looking at one issue that stands above and beyond every other issue. It shelters every other issues in terms of global issues, or when we consider global issues. What are we talking about today? Violence. What is violence, Celeste? Simply put, what is violence?
Violence simply is causing harm, whether in words or action, because when anybody hears the word violent, the first thing that comes to mind thinks like physical, like it has to be an action. But I feel that it goes beyond the action. Before the action sets in, you must have said something, the words that now give birth to the action that eventually happens. So that's what
Joyce, would you be of a slightly different opinion?
No.
Or would you have an addition to that?
Yes, maybe an addition. Is more of an intention to cause violence, to cause injury, damage, or destruction. And sometimes it has to do with physical force. And sometimes, just like Celeste said, it might not be physical, but that intent, before, that's more like thinking about it before bringing it into reality.
Have you ever been in any kind of violence, whether you were violent to someone or they were to you?
Not really. I always like to stay safe and far away from violence, because I know what it does. It can cause injury, destruction, damage, or it has some effect on the mental or physical health.
Which is more to look out for than any other thing. If it just leaves you with a bruise, it can be cured. If it leaves you with a fracture, it can, it can heal. But when it gets to your mind, it's difficult to get it. It's difficult to get it out of your mind. So, have you been involved in any violence?
Yes. Just like I said,
you used to be violent.
Not like I was violent, or maybe I did and I didn't know. But like I said, words. Words are deep, and it's better you heal physically than internally. So sometimes I can say something, or someone said something to me, which yes, and then it took me some time, like to actually heal from the internal one. So yeah.
All right, if you're watching the show, I'd like you to stay through to the show, because the show is live on Facebook and on YouTube as well, so you can make your contribution so that we can all be on the same page on the show. At the end of the show, like I asked Joyce and Sele, if they have been involved in violence, if they have been violent or they have been involved in any act of violence, and they said no. But we'll find out at the end of the show if truly they have been involved or otherwise. Do you know that a jealous behavior is violent?
If at the end of the
there's no if.
If you work on it, that's what I feel.
If you have a jealous behavior, it's violent.
Without any action.
Already it's showing
With or without, jealous behavior is already an action.
Yes, it's an action, right? So yes, I believe it's violent.
So have you ever had a jealous behavior?
Yes.
Have you?
Yes. Have you?
So I have violent people on set with me today. So let me reintroduce you again. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the violent Joyce Yakwari and I have violent Sele on the set. You have the saint of the century, Tony Nakale. I am humble. Thank you for the introduction.
The chairman of the violence.
Come and sit on my chair. Then you can continue the show. Because of a truth, every human being is violent in a way or the other. Violence, we always think of violence as the negative act that always occurs during election. It is the only time that we are against violence. Right now, you will hear political parties. They are already grooming their thugs for violence. You have organizations that they cannot achieve anything without violence. They are already grooming people for that. You have politicians that are already keeping thugs close to them. Watch my votes, guard them, make sure they count at all costs. Is plans towards violence, and if we have to bring violence to an understandable level for people to understand, even a jealous behavior is violent against the other person that you are being jealous to. Anything you do to someone against their wish, you are being violent. So let's have examples of the things you have done to people against their wish.
Okay, I've spoken harshly to someone, or if it is in the jealous behavior, yes, possibly I felt attention wasn't given to me. So my words.
It's regular. Men are used to that.
So
you just said opposite.
Yes.
Okay.
So I actually felt this attention should be on me. I don't understand why
men are used to that. Funny enough, there are things that ladies say that we just say and then we know we are used to saying it. Even if we take it serious, you say it again. So how have you learned from that?
I actually learned that it won't change anything. My behavior. So if
you're being violent,
me being violent won't change anything. I mean, if you're being true to me, fine. But eventually, if your motive and your action was not, God will have a way of kicking you out of my life.
Yeah, no. It doesn't. You don't have to keep people in your life unnecessarily longer, waiting on God to kick them out. He will not.
Yes, I will take an action, but
so if we are talking about violence is found everywhere. There's violence at home, there's violence in relationship, there's when you have sex against the wish of your partner is violent. You understand? You are being violent to the person. So you anything that is violated is violence. So
yes, I have been jealous, and just like Sele said, I would like to take the example of in a relationship where I felt I was in maybe the attention, or maybe someone going against whatever he promised, or just some act that made me to be jealous, and at the end of the day, I'm answering you in full now because you asked, okay, what did she do about it? At the end of the day, I felt, okay, to solve all this, there's nothing that can be done about it. Like you said, men, we hear it and they know, or sometimes they even do it to spite, or sometimes they even do it, to see if you really like them. They have different ways of testing. But at the end of the day, it's my own decision to either stay in it or remove myself from it, because at the end of the day, peace, my personal peace matters. The way I love myself, my worth, depends on me. It doesn't have to come from someone else. If you want to test me by making me jealous or whatsoever, then I don't feel safe in the relationship. I want to be safe. I want to have that understanding that yes, this person will never go against putting other people before me or making me jealous for what reason, so at the end of the day, it depends on you if you want. And I have to maintain that feminine energy instead of being masculine in a way that I'll attack or
Okay. Now people are understanding violence different ways. Unfortunately, we are on this show today. I don't want us to go to that very popular knowledge of violence. Let's bring it to the nitty-gritties of what we do every day. Let's understand that we are all violent people. One very good example of being violent is how we use the social media. Let me ask a question on the show. I hate the show being a question and answer, but from the questions, people have a grasp on a lot of things. Have you ever, why would I always start with you? Lady in blue. Arsenal are the blue, right?
No.
Who?
No, Chelsea.
Okay, we're calling them on TV in church. Oh, do you like football?
Time to time.
Do you like football?
Surely.
Passively.
Okay. Nigeria was...
AFCON.
We're out.
Okay, we are out of the competition.
After being all paid and
Beating all the rest.
Yeah,
Tunisia
I'm
was-
sure the General Secretary of ECA will be a little bit disappointed because yesterday he invited me to his house to watch football and he was shocked to find out that I don't even know what was happening. He said, "You don't like football?" I said, I don't watch football. I don't. He said, "Nigeria is playing today." I said, "Sir, I don't know." He was shocked. And when I got to his house, I was asking, he said, "AFCON. Is it AFCON or
Yes,
AFCON?"
AFCON.
I said, "What is that?" He said, "You are not serious." I told him, I said, "Sir, I don't know, you know." But you see, people can be violent with that unknowingly, you know. Like yesterday, the match went against Nigeria, right? And then we had several things against the president of Nigeria.
Yes.
Why did you receive that call? So I started seeing a lot of things online. So I asked, what call is everybody talking about? And a friend of mine said, the president of Nigeria put a video call through to the guys on camp or something, and then he actually wished them well and all of that. And Nigerians considered that as bad luck because he said, had he not called them, just maybe.
Succeeded before.
And people have said a lot of things about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. There are a lot of things that turned out to be violence. I saw an eagle. Did you see the eagle? The eagle, I think it was a snowy environment and the eagle was flying down and then they say the eagle has fallen. You know, there were a lot of things online. Do you not know that is violent?
It is.
It is.
It is.
Because there are people that their lives are bent on this football game, soccer of a thing. Some people put their money. You know, they say put your money where your mouth is. You know, some people put their money to bet who wins this, who does that, and all of that. But this is the most popular one that I want us to look at. You are in church, don't lie. Have you ever had an issue with somebody personally, with someone? Then you went ahead to make a post on your status about the you are not talking to the person, but it's a relational have you ever done that?
I have.
Have you ever
Yes,
done that?
I have.
Okay, why?
Really, I don't know why I did, but I felt it was like indirectly trying to point out your mistake or your negative behavior.
Did he offend you publicly?
No.
Yes.
Sometimes.
No.
Okay, no.
The question was that, have you ever had something to do with someone, just two of you, and then you went to show like 800 people on your status? You didn't mention his or her name. It doesn't have to be man, woman. It can be man, woman, woman.
Yeah.
It can be even you and family members. You know, people just go online, pick up something and post to spite or to, you understand? You have done that several times, you
I
said.
have.
Like 2,000 times.
No.
Not up to 2000, but I
So why, what did you want to achieve by doing that?
I just wanted to point out your mistake,
Okay.
or just make you, or trying to get back at the person. I think that's it, because I felt hurt.
Okay.
So I felt maybe when you see that post or that quote, I'm trying to talk to you too.
Now this is parallel violence. Now you didn't just do it to one person, you did it to yourself as well. Should I explain to you why?
Why?
If he or she ends up not seeing it, it's hurt on your part. Do you know most times when you offend people, they avoid you on and offline? So anything you do, you end up talking to people that are not concerned with the matter.
Exactly.
This happens to me most of the time. When I get ready to post something, then I get a situation that comes to match what I'm about to post, then I stop. Do you know why? Why? Because the person that is involved might think you are posting because of them. So you let it slide and go back to being in good terms with such people, then you make the post. Most of the time, if you are posting something that people, and I tell the people that that call me mentor, I tell the people that say I look up to you, I tell the people that say I want to be like you, I tell them, don't choose. Wanting to be like me doesn't mean choosing things that will favor you. You have to pick everything. It's a total package. There are some kind of posts I don't do. You have to stay away from them. There are some kind of things I don't say. You have to stay away from them. There are kind of relationships I don't have. You have to stay away from them. These are all the things that built me up. You live in a house, right?
Yes.
Is it roofed?
Yes.
What was used?
Yeah.
Zinc.
I don't know what else you were trying to say.
Maybe grass.
Roofing sheets, right? Roofing sheets.
Yes.
Was it built?
No.
The house, was it built?
Yes, it was built.
Okay. What was used?
Blocks. Rocks.
Maybe at the end it was plastered. Was it?
Yes, it was.
Maybe after plastering, they painted it.
Yes.
So that means we will not see the ordinary color of the plaster. And we will not see the block and the chokings in between. That is what you see about a man or a woman that you look up to. You see the beautiful part, but you ignore what broke the person. You ignored what made the person strong. You ignored a lot of things. Then you pick one thing and say, I want to be like this man because he is this, he is successful, he is this. But in the process, there was a digging. There were blocks that are even buried. You can't see them. And you know what? Funny enough, these are the blocks that are holding your house.
Exactly.
The ones that are buried that are not seen. They are the ones that are just lying low there. The day that they decide to take a step away, your house is gone. You'll be homeless. So, but people must understand that in wanting to be like someone, you have to carry along a lot of things, including the buried blocks. It's very important. So we are talking about violence. Online violence. When the ECWA president posts today that the cocaine president is not of standard, that means the church will not grow. The church is this man will kill the ministry. All cocaine members should come back to ECWA if you want growth. And he posts it online. In the next 5-10 minutes, there will not be peace starting from Jos. Online, he posted it. He didn't go to the office to make that comment. He posted it. Everybody read it. So violence is not just taking knife, stabbing someone. Violence is not just taking petrol, burning cars, burning houses, and all of that's not just what violence is. Violence starts with your thoughts. Like you said, you went to get back at the person online, and unfortunately the person has been offline.
Jokes on you.
Joke on me.
You see, Joyce, have you been in situations like that? You said yes, actually.
Yes.
Why?
Okay, there was a situation that it has to do with me responding. It was a situation that I had with someone. Then the person went ahead to social media to be posting a lot of things, you know, inciting or trying to explain from one angle. Then I felt I was hurt and it was painful, like, and because it was a public thing, like, let's say I was humiliated publicly, and one person was just talking about it in one angle. So I needed to maybe post something that was relatable. You know, ladies are used to taking quotes that relate to their situation, then posting. I don't know about men. So I needed to post something like that. It was just something few. I posted it, and the person saw it, and so many other people involved saw it, and it was as if, okay, I've already addressed that, and that is it. But at the end of the day, I regretted that action. I felt, no, I think I'm even bigger than this. I think silence, you know, is the best, and everything, no matter what it is that is hidden, one day to come out, and you know, you'll be what is it called, vindicated
Yes.
on it at the end of the day. So what I do now, any small thing, like I was saying earlier, maintaining peace is just to ignore and pass, ignore and let it be. Because when you start thinking about it, why would you spend this too much time, the negativity, even your mental health, putting it at stake, you know, to respond to something that is irrelevant, something that will even matter in 1-2 years, or something that won't matter in 2 months or whatsoever, putting it back.
Joyce, that long?
When?
That long? The next day. It's like, you see, unnecessary quarrels are just like rave of the moment. They expire within the shortest period of time possible. They are not elongated. And you see, the rise that actions give, or the rise that conditions give to violence, are mostly payback. They did this to me, let me pay back this way. They did this to me, let me pay back this way. Based on how I have seen violence, and go and check it, people don't respond to violence themselves. Go and check it. A politician loses an election, he's sending youths. He's not going, his children are not going. He's using people. A lady is losing out in a relationship, she's using social media. A guy is losing out in a relationship, he's sending his friend. No, just tell her, if I meet her, I'll just beat her. So just go and tell her. That girl is stubborn. If I meet her, I'll kill her. So you go and tell her. When she was giving you the hugs, when she was giving you the cuddles, you didn't send your friend. You didn't even let him know. You didn't even let him know. When you were in the first year, the first tenure in the office, you didn't care about these youths. You did not care about them. You know, there are we don't help with certain things in life. When something is personal to you, fight it alone. True. So when something is personal, you are fighting with your wife. The maid of honor finished her role 8 years ago when you got married. After church, she finished her role. Don't call her back. Mero kinaina. Hassan Yafara. Do you get the point? Where are you? My husband has started. No, deal with it. One thing that we don't understand, trying to like get into people's private spaces, we forget that these people have a bond that we don't have with them. You are in a relationship with Mr. Aaron. Something goes wrong, you call Sele to tell her. Sele is in a relationship with Mr. Sam. She will rush to tell Sam, this is what these people are doing. Can't they see how we are doing our own? You just have to wait for your own date. Because the Bible says, they that are married shall have troubles. This is scriptural. It's a total package. Why are you ignoring pressure, but admiring to be strong? What's wrong with you? Do you understand the point? Yeah. You are ignoring pressure, but you are admiring to be strong. It doesn't work that way. Strength comes from your ability to deal with pressure. Strength comes from your ability to deal with the issues of life. So when you want to tackle an issue that has to do with you and you alone, it is best utmostly that you deal with it alone.
So if we're going to say dealing with it alone, where do you put the place of? Because we're looking at violence, sometimes words. We're looking at depression comes in eventually because maybe someone said something to you. And then, so how do you get to share? Because you're trying to offload that negative energy from you, and you're trying to get maybe a positive energy, and you need a way to, you know, feel calm, so that at the end of the day your actions or your reactions at the end of the day.
And this has to do with personality, because there are people that like to talk about things when they are able to relieve themselves.
Okay, well, it's important. It's not like I'm a coach on this show putting all this weight on me, but let me try my possible best to let you know. Like I said a short while ago, whatever you have to deal with that is personal, don't bring in a third party. Just maybe that guy you posted nonsense about, he can come back and just give you one gift that is just 200 naira and walk away. You go home and be in torment. If I had known, I wouldn't have. This fight, that means this fight was not even something serious. But you have told 3 people. And they didn't advise you. They are saying, we told her to be careful. She's the one always visiting. She's the one always seeing what has happened to her. Is that the advice you are looking for?
No.
Also understand that people are most of the time not happy with what you have that makes you happy. They are not. They pretend to be. Sometimes even parents. I'm telling you, sometimes even parents. There are people who got married. Their parents are not happy that they are happy in the marriage.
Of course.
For 2 years, Tabitha has not come to report anything. What are you waiting for, Mama? That she comes every week to tell you he has done this, he has done that? So you see, when you have issues, like Joyce said, there are people that, personality issues. Some people will want to always talk. There is nothing wrong in meeting someone to say, this is what I'm going through. But who is the person you are meeting? It matters more than even the problem that you have.
Of course.
Because it's a human that when you have an issue, you are in a hurry for it to be dealt with. But there are issues that you let them be.
Die off by themselves. But we are talking violence now, even though we picked a certain aspect. I just want to broaden it a bit so that I can see if this can be captured. If this is a general thing, if you are dealing with something, you keep it to yourself and fight it alone. What about in the case of maybe husband and wife, and maybe the wife
crying, you are doing this good. If the issue, a man at the door